wanted to take the time to introduce a new tool to you today. It's called Biometric SIG-ID. It is a new way that we can verify students' identity using a biometric signature ID that they can create using just their mobile device or computer. It requires no extra software, tools, or anything of that nature. Because of new SACS guidelines, federal regulations, we need more ways to verify students taking online classes are truly who they say they are, that their mom or they're not paying someone to take those classes. So this is a step we're taking to further increase that student integrity in our online classes. And so Northeast has purchased this tool. It is available starting this summer, and in fall we'll implement. In the middle of fall, we'll ask your division chairs to get some feedback from you, look at some guidelines and different things, and get feedback. So please be aware, we want to hear from you what's working, what's not working. But today we're going to look at it, why it's needed. If we look online, we'll see there's websites students can pay someone to take their online classes. I know you're probably already aware of this, or to be able to help them with assignments by taking the classes, doing their assignments. They simply pay to write papers and different things, as well as other ways that students can share their identities with friends and families to be able to get help and not truly be the student in the class doing all the work. And so for our student success, we want them to be able to learn from the classes and be the ones completing the materials. And so we're going to take this step of implementing biometric SIG-ID in your classes. It's really easy to implement and use in your class. We do have some requirements for classes about the amount of times at minimum you should have students use BioSigID to verify their identity. So in a 15-week course, you'll have a minimum of 6 times in your course that a student is using this tool, verifying before they take a quiz or before they have access to a module, before they move forward in the class. In an 8-week class, it'll be 4 times, and in a 4-week class, it'll be twice. So that's the minimal number of verifications that we're requesting at this time as we go through our first implementation with it. We'll be providing more guidelines and information as we learn together on this product of what's working. The course tool does have to be activated. We'll go through those steps, and it can be tied in or integrated into modules, your assignments and content items in your modules, as well as your quizzes in your modules. It is a module-driven tool. So if you're not using modules, then we'll need to meet with you and look at best ways of what is going to be best for your class so that you can use this tool in your class. So let's start with actually activating the tool in the class. So when you first open up your course, it's not going to show up in your menu by default because not all classes, our traditional classes, aren't using it, so it's hidden. And so when you go inside a course, you simply go to Settings, and you go to this Navigation tab. Here are your active navigation items. The items that you hidden from your students are down here. BioSigID should be at the bottom of it. You just drag it up, and you can put it anywhere in the active space you want to, and save. When you activate it, students will not see it. It says instructor and admin tool only. So please know that. And so when you click on BioSigAdmin, you'll be able to see the tools. You'll have a quiz intercepts, a tools instances, and add instructions. Now I'm an admin, so I have a couple of extra tabs that we're not going to discuss because you won't be using those tools. But know that we're going to be using these 3 tools. So the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and add the instructions to our course. We simply choose where we want it to be inserted before. So if we want it before our first module, if we want it before the getting started, and you can move it around after you've added it. So I'm going to add mine right after the Getting Started before my module tool 2, and that makes it appear above it in between those two modules. By default, it has an auto add module requirements. I'm going to allow that. I'm going to open all BioSig instances in a new tab, and that's just a practice. So if a student's using a phone or other small device, they'll be able to see things a little better. It's not necessary, not a requirement. Just know that if pop-up blockers are turned on, they might have trouble with that. And then I'm going to add the BioSig enrollment instructions before that module. It'll run the process, and I'll get a check marks when it's done. I can close that. Let's take a look at my modules now where I've added that. And so there's my Getting Started module, and here's the automated BioSig enrollment. It provides instructions and an introduction to the tool, and the next item is actually where they load the tool and register it. So once they register, any verification after that, they just verify themselves. They only have to register in the one course, the first course they register in. That ID is locked in, and then they can use it for any verification in other courses. So now let's go back to the BioSig admin side, and let's talk about our two options here. So quiz intercepts is very easy to implement and tie into a quiz. So if I wanted to add it to two of my quizzes that I have listed, my course uses a lot of publisher tools, but I've added some quizzes in here just so you can see what it is like with the quiz tool. So if you have publisher tools, you may have to implement it in the tool instances rather than the quiz intercepts. So we have some options. I don't want to do it my first Getting Started quiz because they're overwhelmed enough. Personally, I want them to go and register and enroll in the process, probably during that Getting Started quiz week. But after that, I want to start verifying it using that verification. So the options on the quiz intercepts after you've checked off any quizzes you want to link to it are to hide quizzes from the navigation menu. That just means the students cannot jump and get access to the quizzes without going through that verification process. You're driving them to modules. Again, you get the open instances in a new tab. I've requested this to be removed, but if it is here when you go through the process, you can delete that out or you can leave it in, but that just verifies to the student that they're about to have to verify themselves. I personally would take it out because I really don't want them having a heads up so that they can't tell their mom or cousin or whoever's taking their online class ahead of time that verification process, that they're having to do it right away when they access that quiz. So now just choose that Convert the Selected Quizzes to BioSigID Guarded Quizzes. It goes through a process of converting quizzes. In future courses, when you copy the course, there are some things that we have to update links. But once you've done it in one course with the quizzes, those links carry over, and there's just a quick fix that has to be done on the admin side. We're going to close that out. And so now those quizzes are guarded. If I go to modules, I'll see this item here is the quiz that I changed. It now becomes a link icon instead of the quiz icon we're used to. And same thing here. Those two are BioSigID quizzes. And that's all it takes to go through and actually use the quiz option. So let's look at the other option, the modules option. So when I go to the BioSig admin page and go to Tool Instances, it shows me all my modules in my course. And I can go ahead and choose where I want it loaded. So I'm going to take it before this PowerPoint Module 3 as an example. If I choose plus, I can take out the validation title that comes before it if I want to. If I put it in the front of a module, By default, I can make this a requirement before they see all these items inside of that module. And then I'm going to show you another example. If I put it in the middle of a page, I'm going to go in and put it after this Excel 1 overview. And before the training, I'm going to do a verification. I'm going to show you SIG has some automated auto add module requirements that will allow you to hide the content under that module until they go through that actual process. If you want, you'll want to have the assignment group created because it's just creating assignments. Basically, when you go through and add BioSigID items, you can do the open in a new tab. This unlocked BioSigID assignment instance on view, that's only recommended at the beginning of the semester as they're getting used to the tool. That simply means once they view it, doesn't mean they have to complete it to view the next content. So just know that is an option. If you're running into a lot of technical difficulties at first and things of that nature, that is an option in there. Add the selected BioSigIDs to your course, and it goes through and processes each of those, and you'll get check marks when it's done. You simply close out. So let's look at modules now. So as an instructor, I don't see anything different. But if I went in as a student, I would see what is different in this course. So here's the one it created here. And then up here is the one it created as well. So once I have all my items added into BioSigID into my course under modules for quizzes or my different content area in modules, I can then know that students will be able to go through the process. In another video, I'll show you the student view of it so you can get an idea of what it looks like from the student view. But I wanted to give you a chance to start working on your courses, adding BioSigID inside of your course, and be able to reach out to us for any help or advice in using BioSigID inside of your courses. Please know we're here to help. Don't hesitate to reach out. We'll be glad to get you started.